Jealousy is the thief of joy. Well, what if it isn't? Hi, my name is Lodi's. I'm a collector of all sorts, but mostly of valleys. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking a little closer look at jealousy within the doll community specifically, and how from time to time we all might have a little bit of an envious side when comparing ourselves to other collectors. So I'm here to give you a bit of a reassurance that jealousy isn't just all bad. Actually, in some doses, is actually quite fine for you. So if that seems something of your interest and you want to take a little bit of a dive with me to see what exactly we all share in common that might make us a little jealous within each other as a community, stick around for the video. First of all, what is envy? And no, for my weebs out there, it is not that character from Fullmetal Alchemist or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Envy is defined as the following. According to Merriam-Webster Online, envy is defined as a painful or resentful awareness of an advantage enjoyed by another joined with desire to possess the same advantage. So, we've all experienced jealousy, I'm sure at least once in our lives. And at least for me, once I entered the doll community, I found myself kind of comparing myself to others. And being somebody who already kind of struggles with this being my main like little sin, because I do self-reflect and I'm like, okay, it's something I gotta work on, you know, me versus me. But before I derail off topic too much, first, I want to share with you guys my own personal struggles with jealousy within the doll community. And then I do want to open up the floor to you guys. I did ask you guys on Instagram what are some things that make you guys jealous. So I will share that along the way in the video. But I do want to continue the conversation down below in the comments because I don't know. As a community, I just want us all to feel like maybe we do have a lot more in common than we think, and then we don't all feel alone, because sometimes it's like we're the only one who's feeling like this type of jealousy, and you're not. Newsflash. So in any case, when it came to me, when I first joined the community, I experienced FOMO, like right away. I remember Dream Busties coming out. That's one of the examples I could think of off the top of my head. Everybody was sharing them, and they're just not my vibe. I like the new line that came out, but I still don't think I like them enough to buy them. But when you see them so much on your news feed, like, I think there's something there that like kind of makes you feel like, am I missing out? Like, am I not seeing something here? Like, is there a reason everybody likes like Jellifier and I just don't get it? Like, I just don't get it. And I know that might be terrifying for you guys to like, it's just not my vibe. Like the Jellifier from Monster High, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. That Monster High doll on Photo, not my vibe. I could understand why other collectors like her, but I'm like, it's just not my vibe. So in case, yes, I've definitely experienced FOMO. I've experienced, this is kind of embarrassing to say, I want to say loneliness within the doll community, because I feel like it's kind of hard to get into any, I don't want to say clique, but it almost feels like school. Like you're new, and you know, there's people out there like there's Megan I could think of like from the top of my head that right away on Instagram, like she's always been like good to me, but I think I've always struggled to like really make friends. So like I think sometimes like it can be hard within the community to like trying to like be like, hey, like, do you want to like link up? I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. Like, it's not even like, okay, like it'd be nice to have like at least one person to be like, oh, like, hey, guess what? Like, me and my fiance went shopping today. Look at what I got, or whatever. Like, somebody to talk to, like, about, like, you know what I mean? Because I have my fiance who I talk to, like, he's my best friend, you know? So we talk, like, he gets excited for me because he knows, like, the Rainbow High dolls better than I do half the time because he loves my passions as much as I do. And I love his passions, like, 'cause we're both collectors. But I have found myself within the community sometimes lonely because it's like, you know, I'd love like a girl gal pal to like that live near me that we could like go like link up and be like, oh, come join us. We're gonna go. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But in any case, what's another thing? Okay, so this is a big one. Me double checking my lights on. Okay, we're good. Knowledge. I get very jealous of like people's knowledge within the community because I know, again, relatively new. For those of you that know, I joined the community with 2023, the summer of 2023. So when the Barbie movie came out, I started recollecting all of my old dolls I grew up with, and then more than that. So I grew my collection relatively fast, faster than I probably should have, but I'm mumbling for a reason there. I'm embarrassed. Um, so what was I saying? Oh, knowledge. So I started my YouTube channel, and it's like there's certain things I had to like think about. Like I'm like, okay, am I a fraud? Like if I like there's people that have been in this community way longer than I have. Who am I to like make a YouTube channel even though I'm passionate about it when there's people that have had their collections for years and are so much more knowledgeable than me? Like who am I to like put myself out there, you know? So I dealt with that for a while, like, but in my head, I'm like, you know what? Like, everybody starts off at a certain point. I can't compare myself to people that have, you know, have had their collection since they were a kid, you know, that have, you know, been obsessing for this for years when I've just been obsessing it for like a couple years. You know what I mean? So, like, I can't compare myself apples to oranges. It's not right. You can't do that. So instead, that's why I think I took the route of like, you know, what's something I can do for my YouTube channel that's going to serve you guys that you guys will also enjoy. And mind you, I don't like math, but I always found it intriguing, like, oh, Rainbow High dolls. Like my husband collects Pokemon cards. Certain ones are more up in value. How about I compare retail Rainbow High dolls to what they're selling for now? That's something I could do for you guys. So it's not necessarily like I have to realize like, yeah, I might be jealous that other people right away by feeling like certain dolls' hairs are like, oh, this is nylon. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not even sure. Like they know, like just by touching the doll's hair, like what kind of fiber it is. I'm not there yet. So, you know, that's okay. That's okay. Everybody's at a different point. So that's another thing I've struggled with. So speaking of knowledge and specifically hair type knowledge, I get quite jealous. I mentioned this, I think, on my actual Instagram. I get jealous of those that know how to restyle hair and they have like no flyaways. Like I know this is probably like she looked decent, right? She didn't look too bad. But what I'm saying is like when people have immaculate photos and like really detailed, like they have their head and like twisties and like just different hairstyles and like there's no flyaways, even if there's no flyaways, but the fact that they could even just style their doll's head besides just straightening it pin straight like I do, I'm like, you're cool. You're badass. Like I have mad respect for those who not only take the time to do it, because the fact that these doll lovers, these whatever you want to call them, you know, enthusiasts, these collectors, the fact that you can take your time just to like restyle and like do these things hours on end, like there's certain things where I'm like, oh, even like putting on the clothes, like if it's not perfectly like the hands, like ew, like I just want to like, oh. It stresses me out, guys. I have to be in a certain mood to change a doll's outfit. Like I literally do because like if it's not happening right away, I'm like I'm over this. No, I want fast results. So for those of you that take the time to really like straight make sure everything's in place, God bless you. God bless you. One day I'll get more of that patience one day. Okay, so this thing probably makes me the most jealous about other collectors. I'm super jealous of those that kept their dolls since their childhood. So I'm talking to you, Kaylee. I'm talking to other people that kept their dolls since their childhood. Like, man, like, tengo tanto envidia cuando, like, I just have so much jealousy because I only kept two. I only kept two. And I went through a phase. I don't remember getting rid of my dolls. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's so many things about my childhood I don't quite remember. But I remember the day I got rid of all my stuffed animals, and it was a sad day. I'm sure I made a lot of kids happy because I gave away all of my stuffed animals for free on a garage sale. And I remember all these kids just running like grabbing lunch. Like, I'm sure I made their day, but like, it kills me. It kills my inner child knowing I gave away all those childhood stuffed animals. That meant so much to me. I'm gonna go on a little side story, open up to you guys a little bit, but growing up, I was in and out of the hospital a lot, like quite a bit. Um, so with that, like, and it was mostly elementary school, so like my youth. Uh, and a lot of my family members would buy me a stuffed animal. You know, I loved cats growing up. I've shared a story with you, like how I carried a cat around, a stuffed animal that I called Lago Cat. And a lot of my family members, whether it was immediate family or extended family from my mom and dad's side, they would come visit me in the hospital and he gave me like Build-A-Bears, like all these different cute stuffed animals that I wish I would have kept. But you know, it's okay. Like they were memories that I'll cherish forever, but I do get super jealous of those that kept their childhood nostalgic toys. Like it's like, man, like, and for those that are like, oh yeah, well I'm just recollecting the ones I had. I'm like, well, good for you. I don't remember the ones I had as a child. I remember maybe one Barbie, and I'm trying to look it up. I can't find it. Please help me out here. It was a Barbie of like, to me it was a gymnast Barbie. It was mechanical. It so bad to explain, but I just remember it has like a remote control. It went back and forth, and she did like flips on it. And I can't find it anywhere. I remember one day like looking it up. I'm like, where is that Barbie? It's the only Barbie I really remember playing with as a kid. And I don't remember which Bratz dolls. I remember I had Bratz dolls, but I don't remember which Bratz dolls I had. So it's kind of sad. It makes me a little sad that I can't recollect the ones I had because I don't remember which ones I had as a kid. Um, but that's okay. That's okay. So if you kept your childhood dolls, good for you. No, awesome. No, I'm happy for you. I really am happy for you because that's one of the things that I do regret as a collector now that I'm like, you know. So that's something I would say. Like, if you're, first of all, if you're a kid watching this, you probably shouldn't be watching this, but if you by chance are watching this and you're under the age of 18, um, don't care what other people think. Put your dolls away or something. Tell yourself you could say you're gonna give it to your kids if you really care what other people think. Like, say like, oh, I'm keeping them because I'm gonna give it to your kids. I'm like, there you go. Just, or don't tell anybody anything. It doesn't matter. Just keep them. Keep them, keep them, keep them. I'm telling you, keep them. If not, you might regret it like I did. Okay, I think that's it for like when it comes to me, like when it comes to the things I could think of that I wrote down my notes that make me personally jealous. But well, actually, there is another thing. But one of you mentioned this, so I thought we'd do like a little combo. Um, you mentioned, how did you phrase it? I don't want to like say it like verbatim, and I won't say who you were either, in case like you wanted to stay remain anonymous. So you said to have the rarest dolls in their collection that I don't have, or at least something along those lines. So are you trying to say like, so what I'm understanding is the envidia, the jealousy of maybe somebody having, like you said, a rare doll. Like, I mean, you said a verbatim, pretty much. I'm making it a little hard. I apologize. So having like a rare doll, like that you've been wanting. I mean, what's a good example for that? For me personally, if I wouldn't have gotten the Mean Girls, I would have been pissed. So I don't know. Maybe some of you are like, she just started her collection. What the heck? She don't deserve the Mean Girls. Well, I've been a collector for how much longer? And how the heck did she get them? I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed too. Honestly, if I put myself in somebody else's shoes and they've been a collector, like especially a die-hard Bratz collector, and they're like, okay, this chick's only been like a collector for how long? And then she got them like, and that is something I want to intertwine because I'm like, okay, like I could see how people get jealous of like you getting a certain doll that maybe you want, whether it's rare, maybe it's one of your Grail dolls, and you don't have in your collection, but they do. Yeah, it's gonna cause a little bit of jealousy. And it's fine. You know, I've seen it even within my videos. Like I did my one video of like how I explained how I got Carol G. And you know how many my thumbs down ratio compared to my thumbs up was like kind of funny. Like I was like, really? I'm like, instead of people being happy for me that my fiance went out of his way to get it for me, I don't know. And like I had this conversation with my fiance and he was like, well, you gotta look at it this way. Like some people might look at it like, oh well, your fiance's not even a collector. Like he didn't like, like I tried. I'm a collector and like I put, I was on a laptop and on a cell phone on this and that, and I had my collector friend and none of us got it. But your fiance who doesn't even collect dolls got it for you. I guess good for you. So like I guess like I understand it. I get it. I do really get it. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like again, what can you do? Like it's just a natural feeling that we have sometimes. I'm like, people are gonna get upset over like different things. And another thing that I wanted to get into that I kind of forgot. Okay, so the other thing actually forgot, but one of you did kind of mention it. Again, we won't mention who you are in case you want to remain anonymous. But again, thank you for responding. Thank you to all of you that did respond to my little Instagram post. So you mentioned having the space for your dolls, which I understand. Jealousy within the doll community, having space for your dolls, that's definitely something that we all can struggle with. I'm very blessed that I do have a dedicated doll room. Thanks to like my fiance and whatnot. But back when I lived, before I met my fiance, when I lived with my family and I had started my collection, I started off with a one black bookshelf. And I remember I had just I want to say, Brett's Gaia, I don't know how to say it. Chloe, I had Chloe, Yasmin. I had started my collection, but I didn't have too many because it was in my room and I didn't really consider myself a collector quite then. I was just starting to like buy some toys that made me feel happy and put them around my room. So definitely, I've seen like huge collections where like people have like a whole dedicated like basement for it. So like me and my fiance joke around. He's like, "Oh, so we're gonna start in the basement soon, right? We're gonna start in the basement." But like honestly, like I want him to enjoy his hobby because his statues take up quite a bit. They're a larger scale, and I feel like a jerk sometimes because it's like, like I'm very blessed to have him, and it's like, most of this doll. I mean, we call it the doll room. We have some of his stuff in here too, but not in comparison of my junk. Not that it's junk, my treasures. In comparison to my treasures, yeah, like so very blessed, but yeah, I think everybody at some point they get jealous. You want more space. Like it's like the more you collect, the more you run out of space. So it's like everybody wants an infinite amount of space for their collection, at least for it to look a certain way, for it to look tidy, you know. So I definitely understand that one. Like we can definitely get jealous from time to time if somebody has the space for and room for it. And I think that's where it goes from like, hey, you know, like it happens, it happens, it happens. We're all in different situations, you know, so I can definitely relate to that sentiment that when you know, when I lived at my parents' house, I was like, okay, you know. So if you have ever found yourself jealous that you don't have enough space for your dolls, rest assured, you're not the only one. So the last thing one of you shared was when somebody gets more attention with lower quality content. You know how many times I had to like redo this? So you shared, for example, what you meant by low quality content. So whether that is photography, styling, concept. So I'm guessing you meant more, I mean, I guess in the creative space, whether that's photography, like Instagram wise, or even like could be like video wise. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like when somebody who I guess maybe is just popular for popularity's sake and they just throw a photo up there without even like really putting much thought into it and they're getting a whole bunch of likes, it's like, really? Like I put in all this thought into this video, and this is me speaking for my own experience, and yet I'm only gonna get this amount of views. Like I'm like, which no, I mean, I think for the most part YouTube does a good job with like throwing out like my good quality out there, thankfully. But at the same token, I can see like, especially on Instagram, how certain people, you know, will just, you know, are maybe overlooked because maybe they don't have as many followers on Instagram and they're not receiving as much in like recognition, because I feel like Instagram especially, like they don't, if you're not, if you don't have a lot of followers, I don't know what it is, but I feel like ever since they changed it where you could just, now you keep scrolling and scrolling and now it doesn't end, I feel like certain pages are not shown as often anymore. Like you have to be a specific like Instagram popular person or whatever the case may be for your stuff to be thrown out there and get more views and clicks and hearts or whatever. So it kind of sucks. It does kind of suck. Like I share your same sentiment. Like it's like, really, like, and I seen, you know, the one that shared this with me, I'm like, I looked at your page. Sorry, I was being nosy. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you do deserve that love. You put in a lot of thought to your, I don't want to say, sorry guys, I have a bit of a potty mouth, but um you, yeah, you have a really, you have a good eye, so I understand like the sentiment of like okay, like what the heck. So if you ever felt jealous because somebody's lackluster work is receiving more recognition than your, I don't want to say brilliant, but much better work, you're not, you're not the only one, you're not the only one. So at the end of the day, jealousy can highlight what matters most to you. So if you're jealous, for instance, for somebody's success, like let's say I'm jealous of somebody who has all that knowledge that I mentioned earlier, it just means that I admire that on that person because they have all this knowledge. And that means that I can later try to acquire that same knowledge as well. That means I'm jealous because I'm trying to better myself. It means I see something that they have that I don't necessarily have yet, but it's something that I want to better myself in, if that makes sense. You could actually use it as a tool, like to gain insight on something that you want in your life. And in the long run, it could actually make you, or actually be like a motivator for you to achieve your own goals. You see, you want what they have, you can get it. Use that as your motivation. Whenever you're feeling jealousy, and that's even outside of the doll community, that's a great opportunity for you to really look inward. To really ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I upset that this creator that's not putting as much effort as me, that's not as low quality, it's just when it comes to whatever they're putting out there for us to consume. Why am I feeling this way? Am I feeling this way because I'm not being seen and I deserve recognition? If so, why shouldn't they be recognized? Why are you that upset? Because at the end of the day, does their success take away from your success? No, it doesn't, right? So it's one of those things where we have to look inward, where it's like, okay, like it's making me mad that they got the doll that I really, 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 really want. But why am I that mad? Like, it's not fair. It's not fair. A lot of things in life aren't fair, but why do I feel this way? Just taking the time to really like self-reflect and be like, okay, maybe I feel this way because of this. Like just really getting to know yourself, because I know, and this is just let's talk outside of the doll community for a second, but I mentioned earlier knowledge, right? I get jealous that people that could pick up something like that. I remember back when I worked um, for a hospital and I had to learn the Epic system. It was really hard for me. I felt like everybody could learn it so quickly, and it took me so much longer. It's one of those things where you have to, self-reflecting and knowing like, hey, Loris, like, yeah, it takes me longer to maybe like learn things, but it sticks. Once I get something, it sinks in. Unlike maybe my peers, where I realized like months later, I'd have my coworkers like, Laura, well, how did you get to that again? I'd be like, oh, this way, that way. And they're like, how do you remember that? I'm like, oh, like I repeated it so many times in my head because everybody could learn so quickly that like it stuck. It stuck at this point that I know what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, like I said, jealousy could be a good thing. It could give you a moment to self reflect and be like, why am I actually jealous? Should I actually be feeling this way? It's okay. Like it's good to have those like mental talks, looking inward and be like, why do I actually really feel this way? Who knows? Because I'm honestly at the end of the day, if you are self reflective, you're already better than, I shouldn't say better. You're already more, how do I put it? No, you are better. You are better than 50% of people on this planet, because those people that do not self-reflect or honestly don't take the time to give a damn how their words or choices affect other people, you want them in their life. I'm sorry, I tend to ramble, but so the next time that you think jealousy is the thief of joy, I want you to think of it more as insight. I want you to think of it as insight to yourself and your basic desires, your basic wants. I don't want to say needs, but your basic wants in your life. It's just a self reflection of something that you aspire to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, I feel like that means you're trying to better yourself. And that's pretty cool if you ask me, because most people out there, I don't think they're working as hard as us people that have jealousy moments from time to time. Because then we're like, why am I feeling jealous? Why am I feeling these feelings? It's like, oh, okay, maybe I'm feeling these feelings because I need to get more knowledge on my dollies. And then there you go. I'll start working more on gaining that knowledge, or whatever your case may be. Just use it as fuel. Remember, not everything has to be good or bad. And considering I struggle with that, because sometimes I see things in black and white, but there is a gray area. Jealousy does not have to be a bad thing, whether it's inside or outside the doll community. It's just a feeling. It's just like hunger, happiness. They're feelings. They come and they go. That's okay. So the next time you're feeling jealous, remember, you're awesome. You're still awesome, and it's just insight of more awesome things to come your way. But until next time, friends, I'll talk to you later. Bye. And real quick, if you stuck around this long, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Bye, my friends.